Hello again and welcome back. It's time to learn yet more Python with Jordan and Jackie. And today we're continuing our journey through data types and super exciting things like that. And today we're looking at lists, which is one of a collection of types of variable entity in Python that is more complex than an integer or a float because it is a collection of things. And eventually we'll cover classes and objects in more detail, but a list is in fact an object. Yeah.
So this is our first encounter with an object. Here on the screen we have two lists, list 1, list 2. The first one is a bunch of even numbers. And so we can see that how we define that is we have the square bracket to start and to close.
Indeed. This is declaring or initializing a list. The way you do it is square brackets and then all of the things separated by commas.
And then we have another list, exactly the same. The difference is that we have a bunch of strings. And so we have these double quotes to separate, to define each strings.
Let's see what happens if we print them out.
Right, so it literally prints the two strings with the square brackets, the commas.
Interesting. Interesting that it shows it with all of the brackets and stuff. Also slightly interesting that it's gone with showing these with just a single quotation mark instead of the double.
So here it's really printing in a sense, telling you that this is a list, and it also helps you understand the type. Why are we highlighting the types here? Is that when we put different types in the same...
Oh, yes, we can do that, can't we? Yeah, so we can say list 3 equals list 1 with that good old general purpose plus sign.
So we've seen it in the past videos that we can use the plus sign to put together strings or numbers. The plus sign in Python has different meanings, different function for depending on the type.
Wow, yeah. And with here, lists, it just combines the two.
Yeah, so we don't have two tables anymore. We just glue it together.
So I guess one of the reasons you might look at this output and go, how am I supposed to use that? And I guess the honest answer is you aren't really supposed to use it in that format.
No.
Because if you were going to deal with the whole list as one thing, then you're kind of losing out on the point of a list. So what's super nice about lists is the fact that you can pull out individual values from them.
Yeah, so this is where we have first this notion of object, because we're going to use the dot.
Later. First, we're going to use the square bracket syntax,
in that way.
To index a specific element of the list. So I'm saying I want to print list item, but it's called list 1. That would help. Item 3 from list 1. So what do we think is going to come out? I'm going to guess that the 6, right?
6.
That's the third item.
Oh
no.
It's the 8.
The 8.
Yeah.
Oops.
Because indeed in a list, the first index is always 0.
Yeah, this is something that pretty much almost all programming languages do, except not quite all. MATLAB, I think, is like, haha, screw you guys, I'm going to do different. But yeah, so with all of these things that are a collection of multiple entities, the first element is element 0. And this, it's a small thing, but for new programmers, it is annoying. It takes a little while to wrap your head around. So list 1, element 0 is going to give us the 2. And there it is. Yeah.
And so just to be clear on the syntax, here you have your variable and then square bracket. This is already declared. And so that means that we look at the index 0 of that list, which gives us the number 2.
We want the item number 0 out of there. So since this one has 5 things in it, the last element would be element 4.
Which gives us the number 10.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
And what happens if I go beyond the list's limits, I wonder, Jackie?
Value error or something like that?
That would be my guess. Index error.
Index error.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. All right. Now, let's see how that looks if we index our second list, days of the week. Element 2 should be Wednesday. Yeah. Okay, and so now it is showing it without the quotation marks. It's just printing the string that it actually is.
This is not an array anymore. It is just the value of whatever type that is. In that case, this is a string. Yeah.
Okay, now one of the great things is with lists is not only can you pull out individual elements, you can also overwrite individual elements. And let's see one way to do that. So let's say the weeks are too long. I don't like Wednesdays. I want Wednesdays to be weekends. So what if I go list to element 2, which is the Wednesday, 0, 1, 2, equals Saturday.
Yeah. So
and then this time I think I'm going to go back to just printing the whole list so you can, better see the change. Okay, so I think what's going to happen here is I'm going to replace just the one element. Let's see. There we go. Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday. If only it was that easy to get a 4-day week.
But here we have the syntax we use again, our square bracket, to go at the specific index in our list. And we say we have this assignment variable syntax where we replace what is inside this index.
Yeah, so I suppose as soon as you are adding an actual index to a list, at that point it behaves exactly like any normal variable. You can put it on the left or the right-hand side of a assignment.
Yep.
You would in fact be able to use it in comparisons as well. In an if statement, you could say if list 2 element 2
equal list 2 element 3.
Yeah, do this thing. Yeah. Okay, now there's a lot of stuff with lists, so you might at some point want to come and check out. So this is that W3 schools again. So Python lists, and then it's got an entry for accessing, changing, adding, removing, how to loop through them, how to make sense of them, how to sort them, how to. This is more than most of you will need to do, and certainly more than we can afford to cover in our lessons.
Yeah.
But so all of these pages describe lists, but I do want to just show you
adding.
Yeah.
Adding.
So there are quite a lot of situations in which you want to add or remove things from a list in such a way that the list becomes longer or shorter.
Yeah.
And also where you're not indexing a specific place, you're just saying, I want to take the first one or add another one at the end or something like that. Okay, so the way we add things to a list, allowing it to grow, is using the append method.
So here we use the dot syntax.
Yeah, we haven't seen this much before, have we?
So I think that's also why we were mentioning that it's the first time we see an object.
We'll come back to that.
An object, it's not only information, but we have methods, function that we can apply to that.
Yeah, it has levers and dials that you can pull and interact with.
Indeed. So a typical example here on the list, we can add something to a list that's a function that is part of this object.
Yeah.
And so we use the dot to use that.
Yeah. So I want to use the append method. The syntax is the list I want to do it to, then the period, the full stop, then the append, and then it is round brackets like this, right, Jackie?
Yeah.
So what I think this is going to do is, why would I do 14? 12 is the next number. So I think this is just going to stick a 12 on the end there. Let's see.
And so we have a list with another item.
Yeah.
And it ends with 12.
Yeah. Okay, now what if I want to remove, what if I want to read something from the list but then also delete it from the list?
Yeah, so we have another method for that. I think it's pop.
I think so too.
POP, yeah.
So pop, and then we have to specify from where we want to pop. Now, okay, so why is it called pop? This dates back to the ancient history of computer science with pop and push and
Let's not
it's
dive
called
in.
pop. You're popping something off.
Yeah. But 0.
You typically want to do it from one end, and if I'm not mistaken, it returns that number. So value val1 equals list.pop. And then let's try to print, just to confirm that we got something there, and then we're going to print the list again.
So that means that pop is in fact doing two things. It first get that value out, put it into value 1, but it doesn't leave it in the array anymore, in the list.
Yeah. So indeed, here we can see we've the val1 is that 2 that we've popped off from the front of the list, leaving it shorter.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just going to touch on this for the moment, but one of the main reasons you would want to do this popping and appending, let's just list1.append to remind ourselves. Okay, so this is, well, so yeah, let's see what this does. So this is probably going to take that 2 and then put it on the back. Yep. One of the main reasons you might want to use this sort of construction here is to sort of keep track of the most recent 5 readings from a sensor or from user input to do a sliding window. How else would you describe that? Yeah, to just keep track of your X many most recent things. And I'm not going to go deeper into. I'm getting tempted to do.
I mean,
but
we can see that it opens up for many things to play with list, and that's the core of it, I think.
Yeah.
An interesting thing is that pop doesn't need to be 0, but it could be any index. But
that is true.
Most often you're gonna also use the last one, so that you take out the last one and you add a
you
one.
typically remove from one end of the list. Yeah. Add to the other, and I suppose at that point what you've sort of created is a queue.
Yeah.
Last in, first out.
Yeah.
Right, we're breaking our own rule and diving a little bit too deep into things that aren't the core topic of the video, so let's leave it there.
But all these methods are listed here, or maybe all, but all the useful one. Yeah, I see a list methods. Here that's. Is probably extensive.
So many things. You can sort the list. Cool.
And so if you understand the basics, I'm confident that then you can dig
just
deeper
refer to documentation like this and figure out what you need to do. Okay, went slightly off script there, but that's why you love us. Thanks for listening. We'll be back again soon. Bye for now.